This is a video for how to go about embedding a Google slide into Canvas. You're going to notice that I am on my home screen for Canvas. One of the things I like to do with any class I teach is I like to have that home screen with a lot of information, a lot of things that I can place. With what I'm going to go through with you, you can do this in an assignment, you could do this into a quiz question, you can do a lot of different things with embedding Google Slides. So I've gone in and I've just created for myself a brand new Google slide, and I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to just type in the date that I'm making this video. So the date I'm making this video is Thursday, February 3rd. And I'm just going to say, that's all it's going to say on the slide. And what's neat about this is, you could, like, let's say just underneath, however you choose to make the slide, you could have step 1, get out your notebook. That's what I'm going to say. You could have all the instructions for a class. You could have anything on here that you wanted to, obviously. And right here is your Google slide. Notice if I just tapped up here, it gave it a name. And what we need to do with this is we need to go in and now publish this to the web and make it live, if you will. So you're going to go to File in the top left-hand corner, and you're going to go down to Publish to the Web. And when this comes up, it's going to say, do you want to link this or do you want to embed this? And we're going to want to embed it. And it says slide size is medium. You could change the slide size. It'll, you can make it auto advance, do these things. But for the sake of discussion, I'm just going to go to Publish right here, and I'm going to say OK. And you could make this to where it advances every so often. We don't have to mess with that. And you're going to notice automatically it highlights everything, and it says press Control-C to copy. So on my keyboard, I'm going to say Control-C. You can also highlight all of it and right-click and go to copy that way. And I'm going to go up to Sandbox up here at the top. I'll go back to my Canvas course. And again, on my front page here, I have this embedded the way I like it. So I'm going to go to Edit. And when I go to Edit, it's going to allow me to change anything on my front page. Now, in order for us to have that Google Sheet show up the way that we want it, we're going to have to go down to something known as the HTML editor. And we're going to click. And you're going to see this is kind of blank in here. And if you have anything else in there, you're going to have to find a way to embed this text into it. But I'm going to Control-V, and I'm going to go ahead and save and embed this into the HTML for the front page. And you're going to notice it has something that says width and height numbers in here. Now we're going to go back to our home screen and go back to the rich text editor, and you can now see that show up. And it says Thursday, February 3rd. And if I come down here at the bottom and I go to save, you can see that on my front page now I have that Google slide embedded in there. Now I'm going to go to Edit, because you might think to yourself, that's way too big. So let's go back to the HTML editor, and where it says width, is 1440, I'm going to go to 1000, and it's going to say the height is 839. I'm going to go to 650. Let's see if that looks a little bit more clean and better. It's a little bit smaller, and I'm going to go ahead and say save. And we now have that embedded. And this could be, if you're a teacher and you say, I want this to be on the front page every day, it tells students what to do. You don't have to have access to Canvas, so you could have the Google Slides app on your phone and put in what your students are going to do for the day and just have it saved on your phone, and it'll automatically update to Canvas. So remember, back here on the front page it says get out your notebook. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, let's do something different. I'm going to say, turn on your computer, and I'm going to go right here just real quick, and I'm going to say, actually I'm going to update, because it's going to be Friday, February 4th tomorrow, and I'm just going to go ahead and update everything. I'm just going to kind of tap out here to the side. It says save to drive. I'm going to go back here. If I go to refresh up here at the top, we're going to see Friday, February 4th, turn on your computer, and it's going to change for you. And that's something you could put right on your front page. Now, one of the things that's, neat also in doing this is, if I go into, to create any type of, assignment, like let's say if I went into a module real quick, and I said, I want to put this and embed this, within an assignment. So if I say, I'm going to create an assignment within this, I'm just going to create an assignment real quick, and I'm just going to call this slides here. I'm going to go to add item. Let's just try this real quick. So I'm going to go into slides, and if I go to edit, I can say, step 1, read the slide below. Come over and put a little dot here. Now, you could have these things embedded for assignments. You can embed Google Docs, any Google product you have, you can embed in there. And I can go right into here, and I can say, I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to change that to 1000 again. and we did 650 for height. I'm going to come right into here, and I'm going to go change that, and automatically it's embedded. It's sitting right there. You could do the exact same thing with Google Docs, with Google Slides, Google Sheets. There's all kinds of different ways you can go embed Google products into Canvas. It's a pretty neat thing. So again, I can't emphasize this enough, especially if you're a teacher and this is where you put the day's plans. If you had like a sub that day, you can just go right into Google Slides, again, app on your phone, something like that, and change it. If you have any other type of I'm going to do something kind of off of my screen here. If I go into Google Slides and I find an example of something that we are studying right now in one of my classes, like I'll give you a classic example of Google Slides here. I could go right into publish to the web, and I could put that right into a kid's. I could put this right into a kid's assignment just by embedding that in. I can restrict access to only students in my school, and that works really, really well within any type of assignment that I might create. So this has been a video for how to go about embedding a Google slide into a Canvas front page or into a Canvas assignment or document.